Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
How do, and welcome back to Pez RC and Hobby. Remember to say that at the end. Anyway, Alpha Strike, the Commander's Edition, finally came today. Ordered it from Zatu last weekend, and with Royal Mail 48, and it took a week to get here. Don't ask me why. But it is pretty awesome. I mean, the first pages that you open, I mean, look at that. Pretty sweet. There is a free to download version of Alpha Strike, which I've never looked at, because I knew that the Commander's Edition, they've got all the extras to make Alpha Strike a bit more tasty. So I'm going to be looking at that in detail. But the main reason why we're here is to look at some things that I've been painting. Besides painting lots of Tau, which we'll look at in a second actually, attached to this video. First we're going to start off with Battletech, because I've been painting like a madman. It's been ace, I've really enjoyed it. Found my mojo again, and I've even bought some more Battletech. So I've painted the first Liao, can't pronounce it, Dragoons. They were done about 7 months ago, and that was for the Inner Sphere. And for the clans, I never knew what to do, but I've always liked Clan Ghost Bear from the Mech Warrior video games. So I looked at some schemes online, and I found a really cool one from the Alpha Galaxy, and I gave it a go. So I'll talk you through quickly what I did to get that kind of paint scheme. It was very, very time consuming, but I've narrowed it down to make it a little bit quicker. There's some tests, and then I'll show you some other mechs that I bought, and I'll also show you the Tau so far. So it's a complete wargaming hobby video. There you go. Alrighty then. So in this wonderful list, we have the this is the Ghost Bear Alpha Galaxy paint scheme, and I'll tell you where I got the idea for the scheme from. It's called unitcolorcompendium.com. So if you go to unitcolorcompendium.com, which I wish I'd have found earlier, you'll find some awesome digital paint schemes that you can copy. It's a really cool resource. Okay, so here we have a Mad Dog, a Executioner, a Kodiak, which is essential for Clan Ghost Bear obviously, a Summoner, a Timberwolf, a Gargoyle, and a Howlbringer. Oh yeah, that one isn't actually Alpha Galaxy. That's another test for the rest of the clan that I'm going to paint, because I'm going to do all Ghost Bear but different systems, of camouflage basically. So we'll start with the Timberwolf. And I'll try and get us to focus. There you go. So this is one that I'm working on. So it's got like the kind of snowy, or is it supposed to be stars or snow? I don't know. I think it's probably supposed to simulate like snow myself. And so what I've done with this one is the blue's got two colours on it, a shade and a highlight. And the white has got a grey wash and then a highlight, and obviously black panel lining. So the panel lining is here, but not on every single panel because it becomes too much on the white, I've discovered. But that's good because it saves time. So that's what I'm going to do next, more of these, and these now take longer than this. So this one is the Gargoyle. and this is in the Alpha Galaxy scheme. So you paint them white, and then you put blue wash, a couple of coats, obviously drying between coats, and then thinned black paint to do some segregation for the shadows, and then hit it with the gold, and then a lighter gold for highlights. Gold, and then Reichland Flesh Shade. So you do Reichland Flesh Shade wash over the gold, and then you do a highlight of gold, and then you do a very, very high highlight of silver on that one. And obviously just white paint on a tiny brush, just dabbing the snowflakes, I'm going to call them. I'm waiting for decals to come from eBay for the insignia. So this is a Hellbringer, same scheme. Now we'll put a tiny bit of red in. If you notice on the gargoyle, he's got a sort of red part to the just below his helmet there, or the cockpit. This has got some very faint red highlights in the top. Not too much where it becomes an issue, but just enough to break it up. There's no red on this one. This is a Mad Dog. It's a very cool pose. And I've quickly just painted in the Ghost Bear insignia before I realised you could get decals, but obviously I'll cover that over. Executioner. Absolute beast. This one, amazing. This is the Kodiak. Absolutely awesome pose. An awesome mech. I remember from the video game. And then last but by no means least is the Summoner. He's got a bit more red on him. But it's pretty cool. So a lot of beastie mechs in this Alpha Galaxy one. While we're here, 3D printed this building in FDM. Needs painting, but it didn't come out too bad considering it's not a resin print. I'm just printing some more different buildings that I bought the files off a website, and they're relatively inexpensive for what you're getting, and you can print as many as you want, is the beauty of it. But yeah, it'd be quite cool linked together in like a circular fashion. Okay, so there's a lot here, but we'll look at them individually in a second. We've got an Awesome, a Battlemaster, a Warhammer, a Thunderbolt, a Marauder, a Rifleman, a Catapult, a Griffin, a Shadowhawk, 2 Wolverines, an Archer, a Wasp, a Stinger, a Phoenix Hawk, Commando, a Valkyrie, and a Locust. Start at the back with the aptly named Awesome. So this is obviously a 2-tone paint scheme. Took forever and a day because nearly every single panel is next to mainly a different colour. So every green is a 2-stage green, and every red is highlighted with orange, and every single panel is lined with black to break them apart. And yes, it takes forever. Now, if I'd have looked on the Unicolor Compendium, I could have chosen these to be the 4th Sky Rangers and painted the arms black. Kept all this colouring in here and then just painted the arms black. Would have saved me a lot of time. But I'm not going to do that now because obviously there's a lot of work in these, and I don't want to paint over them to make them the Sky Rangers, which would have been quite cool. But the only thing I could find that was close to these, because I did a colour scheme that I liked rather than picked a faction, the only ones that I could find that used anything remotely similar was the first Liao Dragoons. So that's the awesome, and it is pretty awesome. Okay, over to the Battle Master. Obviously same paint scheme. The gunmetal silver has been washed with some Agrax Earthshade and then highlighted back up with some more gunmetal, and then there's a tiny bit of silver highlighting that as well. But there's a lot of detail in these mechs. I haven't based any of them because I'm not sure whether to base them because they're going to look odd on different terrain, or whether to keep them just black. Oh sorry, this is the Warhammer. Whether to keep them black or whether to try and go for some clear acrylic bases. I think these might work really well with acrylic clear bases, but it would mean cutting them all off, these bases, and you'd have to use PVA on the clear acrylic, because if you use super glue, which is obviously the best thing to use, or the quickest thing to use, then it discolours the acrylic. I suppose I could use some 2-part epoxy resin. I'm going to give up trying to stop the camera from getting weird on me, because it seems to just be doing a weird focus shift thing. There you go. So this one is the Thunderbolt. Great pose. A lot more green on this guy. Got a cockpit there for scale reference. Little 6mm guy is supposed to be sitting in there for scale. These miniatures are absolutely fantastic compared to what you used to get back in the day. This is a Marauder. Strange but really cool looking. I think it's hard to get these kind of mech designs to work well, but need a lot of careful posing, and they've done a good job on this one. It's really cool, and really pleased with how that came out as well. And this is the Rifleman. I love this. It just looks awesome. Great pose as well, like shooting up into the sky. There's some kind of aerial detection system. There's the little cockpit on this one. And I think the black lining, although it takes forever, and it is worth doing. And I think when you look at how many I've done and what I did with them, it's why I burnt out when I first did the painting, because it was such a massive undertaking, and the thought of doing some more didn't fill me with great joy. So that's why I took a break from it. But I wish I hadn't. I wish I'd have just carried on and done a different colour scheme on some other ones, which is what I'm going to do. I have bought some more Innisphere Mechs, and I'll show you those in a second, but they aren't going to be from the first Liao Dragoons. Yeah, there'll be a different colour scheme completely, because there's a lot here. You know, you can do a lot of these. So this is the Archer. Lots of missiles. Now this is one of two Wolverines. One of them I had got a broken gun, which is a shame, and I did think about replacing it with a little piece of tubing and never got around to it. But it needs to be repaired. And that's the only breakage I've had on these. It was like that when I took it out of the packet, strangely. So yeah, this is a Wolverine. So we're gradually coming down in size now. And then you've got a Shadow Hawk. It's pretty sweet. Good pose as well. Little cockpit. And then a griffin. And then iconic catapult, just like a load of missiles. That came out quite well, I think. And I love the red and green. It really worked quite well. We'll do the wasp, tiny now, getting smaller. There's the cockpit. Good running man pose there. Got the Stinger. With these little light mechs. Got the Phoenix Hawk. He's nice. It's got a more modern look to him. Looks very jump capable. And then the Commando, tiny little thing. The Valkyrie. And then the Locust. I love this. I think this is possibly my favourite mech so far, strangely enough. I mean, look at it. It wasn't when I first took it out of the packet and I looked at it, because it didn't look like it was very well detailed. But when I started panel lining it out and bringing out the colours, you know, I went like, you know, it's got a bright orange highlight there and bright green. I think I highlighted the green with some yellow wash on these, and it really made the green pop. But yeah, to go in with some fine detail to make it look scale and make this one pop. But I think it worked in the end. It's really cool. It's a great pose. It just looks like it's running, like it's about to run, like it's fast. Because there's, you know, there's the cockpit on this one, and if you compare this one to the Awesome, you know, there's a massive difference in those. We'll compare it to the Kodiak. Now, I did buy two separate mechs off eBay. One was the King Crab, and mistakenly I picked it up when I was on a painting frenzy and I was doing the ghost bears and shaded it up with the washes over the white. This is 3 coats of blue, and I gutted because it came out really nice, ready for the next stage, and it's not a clan mech. I just grabbed it in amongst, it just looked like it should be, and I started painting it up. This is a king crab. It's really cool looking. So yeah, it's got to be repainted, which is a shame, unless I can find a way of using this as one of the colours and going over it with another one. I don't know, but you can see there what I was talking about with the ghost bears. The shading process, very simple, and then it's after I've done three coats of the blue wash over the white, I got a white faint dry brush, really dry brush, just to pick out the details again. And the next stage from here would be to use the thin black paint on a tiny brush to do all the panel lining, and then hit it, if it was going to be ghost bear, hit it with the gold. This would have looked fantastic as a ghost bear mech, I think. It's ginormous. I mean, compare it to the Locust. Okay, we'll start off with what I've shaded up, ready for the ghost bear. This is the rest of the force for the ghost bear clan. We've got a Nova Prime, a Shadow Cat, a Mongoose Prime, a Dire Wolf, a Viper, an Adder Prime, a Miss Lynx, and an Ice Ferret. So this is the Nova Prime, and we'll just go with the camera. That's pretty cool. And the Shadow Cat, and these are potentially going to be this kind of paint scheme. So they're just going to be a variant of blue and white with some spots, but not like the Alpha Galaxy, which is like completely covered in spots, in snow spots. It'll be just carefully selected panels. But these take a little bit longer because obviously white is a nightmare, because you can't get any overpaint on it. You've got to repaint it all again, and you've got to be very careful and slower when you're doing the paneling. Okay. It's a Mongoose Prime. That's a good pose as well, I think. I like how the gun is facing down. This is ridiculous. This is a dire wolf. Put it next to the king crab. Put it next to the turkina. It's potentially, I think, might be the biggest mech that I've got so far. It's definitely got more beef than the Kodiak. So that's the dire wolf. That's going to be awesome to paint. So, especially with the carapace. Got a lot of panel. What I've noticed on these mechs, you know, they've got a lot of little tiny different segregated panels, which is great for painting. It's a Viper. An Adder Prime. Got the backwards legs again. And then a Mistlynx. Not keen on the pose because it's kind of, I think it's facing the wrong way. It's very odd. Its kind of legs look like they're going the opposite way than they should be, although they're not. It's because of the torso is twisted. I even thought about cutting it and turning it round, but it is what it is. Ice Ferret. I kind of like this one. Looks like he's got like a flat cap on. I have to do it like in tweed. Call it Earthsuit. He's got the thin arms as well. There you go. This is Earthsuit. Earthsuit. Tribute to Earthsuit, the Ice Ferret. This is actually the rest of the clan mechs. So you've already seen the Turkina, giant missile boat. It's huge. Ebon Jaguar. It's nice and crisp. Halion. Crossbow. Huntsman. Pack Hunter. I like him. He reminds me of the scarecrows from what was that game called? Yeah. Fire Falcon. And a Howler. Now these are released. These packs were released recently, fairly recently, I think. And the quality of the plastic is different to the ones before. It's definitely a lot less cleanup on the flash, and definitely a better production process. So they've gone even better now, I think. Okay, so now we're going to look at some Inner Sphere. Okay, like I say, these are the new packs that I bought for Inner Sphere. King Crab. It's a longbow. Look at this beast. It's like walking MLRS. See, there's the cockpit area, and this is like your sort of you'd think it'd be like some kind of radar tracking system. Kingfisher. Very crisp. I think it's a harder plastic. Stalker. It's quite cool. Flashman. It's like a little dwarf. The classic Zeus. Definitely a change of plastic for the better, because they were good before, but now, like I say, it does feel a lot harder. Plastic, better quality, and there's definitely less clean up. Okay, so this is a croquet, if I haven't already said. It's fairly beastie. Guillotine. That's cool. Trebuchet. Quite a lot of missiles for a little fast mech. Crab. I like this. I like it because it's different. It's got that long carapace. It's very cool. And then we have the Lancelot. And the mongoose. Very cool. Oh, and I found these as well from the first packs that I had. These are elementals. These are clan elementals. So this is, if you put the pilots of these mechs inside little robot suits, like little battle suits with jump jet capability, you get these elementals. And at first I wasn't keen on them because I'm always like mech, but the more I look at them, the more I think they're amazing, and I might have to buy a pack of just elementals, I think, next, when I do a next order. But I'm not ordering anything until these are painted now, he says. Oh, I have an Atlas on the way, obviously, because you can't not have an Atlas. So guys, I know I said I was going to do the Tau, but I'm going to make that a separate video now because it's taken longer to get through them than I thought. But check out Alpha Strike. It's quite difficult to get hold of in the UK because it's usually out of stock. It's coming from America, I believe, and it's a shame because it does seem like it's the Battletech we've all been waiting for. Well, me anyway. And who knows? If we want more, you can always look at the traditional classic Battletech if Alpha Strike doesn't float your boat. But anyway, either way, whichever one you play, the miniatures are what we've always dreamed of. And I've tried not to rush through them and just bosh paint on them to get them done. When I do them, I'm trying to spend time on them and do them to the best of my ability. So I hope you like what I've done so far. And if you're interested, check out Death from Above Wargaming YouTube channel, because it is the best dedicated Battletech channel on YouTube by a long shot. So that's pretty cool. I've been watching a lot of that. So anyway, catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.
Heat level critical.